Now, the greatest radio shows of all time.
Suspense.
The Shadow Node.
Washington calling David Harding, counter-spy.
Classic radio theater.
The Great Gildersleeve.
Fibber McGee and Molly.
Dragnet. Gunsmoke.
The Lone Ranger.
Now, step back into our time machine with your host, Wyatt Cox.
Good evening, friends of the Inner Sanctum.
Cold War drama, Dana Andrews in I Was a Communist for the FBI going back to August 27, 1952, Burnt Offering.
I was a communist for the FBI.
Starring Dana Andrews in an exciting tale of danger and espionage. I Was a Communist for the FBI. Many of the incidents in the story you're about to hear are based on the actual records and authentic experiences of Matt Cvetic, who for 9 fantastic years lived as a communist for the FBI. Here is our star, Dana Andrews, as Matt Cvetic.
They call each other comrade. Talk a lot about the brotherhood of man. Well, you can add that one to the long list of their lies. How can a man who has no identity, no mind or soul of his own, be a comrade or a brother to anybody? I know. I was one of them. I was a communist for the FBI.
Now, here is Dana Andrews as Matt Cvetic, FBI undercover man. This story from the confidential file is marked Burnt Offering.
One thing that always excited the local party members was the arrival of a visitor from Europe. Any sort of an official from one of the Iron Curtain countries. These messengers from headquarters always demanded and got the full plush carpet treatment with all the trimmings. It was assumed, of course, that they were here for some secret purpose beside their official duties, and they usually were. Like Zubanski, the diplomatic courier from, well, let's just say, from a certain country in Europe. Zubanski had a purpose, and if necessary, he was ready to kill to carry it out.
I know this is extremely short notice, Comrade Cvetic, but the tremendous importance of Comrade Zubanski's mission fully justifies it.
I understand, Comrade Jones. I'm glad you were able to find me. What is the mission, Comrade Zubanski?
Questions, comrade? A most remarkable attitude.
Well, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to pry, but, well, if I'm assigned to work on it too,
Your
I thought...
assignment is to accompany Comrade Zubanski to Chicago. He's going to meet a contact there and return immediately to New York. And from there, go on back to Europe. He'll carry out the mission. Your job is to facilitate it. I've made plane reservations. You're to be at the airport in 30 minutes. Oh, and one more thing. You'll carry this with you, Comrade Cvetic.
A gun. This must be a big one.
The biggest job we've ever done. The man you're going to contact has been in Chicago only a week. He came there from Los Alamos, New Mexico.
30 minutes. No time to discuss anything with the FBI. In fact, I didn't see how I was even going to contact them. Zubanski went to my hotel with me and stayed with me while I packed. Finally, we were ready to leave, and there was no way around it. I had to take a chance. With Zubanski standing a dozen feet from me, I picked up the phone and called the FBI number.
Hello?
Hello, City Cab Company?
No, this is not the...
Will you hold a cab at the stand in front of the Gavin Hotel, please? A friend and I have to get to the airport right away to catch Flight 9 to Chicago.
Is this Richards?
Right. It's very important that we catch that plane.
Something big?
Yes, the Gavin Hotel. Right away.
All right. We'll cover you.
Thanks. Thanks a lot. A taxi will be waiting, Comrade Zubanski. Shall we go? think that'll be all for now, boy. Here you are. Thanks.
What did you say is the name of this hotel, Conrad Cvetic?
The Handley House. It's one of the best in Chicago.
Oh, yes, it is most delightful. Very luxurious. Now, to business. I have a telephone number here, Conrad Cvetic. I wish you to put the call through and then let me talk with the person who answers.
All right. Fine. Operator, will you get me Iroquois 7349? Yes, that's right. They're ringing now.
Good, let me have it. Hello, this is Ivanov Zubansky. You have been informed of my identity, I believe. Good. I am here now and prepared to complete the transaction at once. Number 14, Cottage Grove, 9 tonight. Excellent. Very well. Goodbye. Comrade Cvetic, do you know the location of a place called Cottage Grove?
Yes. As I recall, it's a summer resort, 10 or 12 miles up the lakeshore. Probably deserted this time of year.
Not entirely. There will be someone waiting for us in number 14 at 9 o'clock. Would it be possible for us to obtain an auto?
Yes, I can rent one through the hotel.
So simple? It's amazing. We will make history tonight if everything goes well.
Make history?
Conrad Cvetic, I have been an agent of the party for 20 years, and I have never carried out an assignment even approaching this one in importance. Arrange for the car.
An hour later, we left the room and headed for the elevators. I was worried, plenty worried, because I couldn't be sure the FBI was on hand and covering me. We left the elevator and started across the hotel lobby. Then I saw him, sitting in a chair near the reservation desk, reading a paper. It was Davis, an agent I'd contacted before. The FBI was on the job. At the door, I glanced back and saw that Davis had folded his paper and was sauntering along behind us, with apparent unconcern. The doorman pointed out the rented car, and we walked over and climbed into it.
Now, Conrad Cvetic, let us go now, quickly.
Just a second, the motor's cold.
Never mind, we leave now.
All right, you're the boss. But why? I don't get it.
The secret police, Conrad.
You mean the FBI?
Yes, the secret police. You see, there were no taxis at the door when we came out. It was better to leave quickly before one should arrive. So if there were secret police, they would be unable to follow us. You understand, Conrad?
Yeah, I understand.
The timing was excellent. It worked perfectly.
I'll say it worked perfectly. I caught one last glimpse of Davis in the rearview mirror. He was frantically trying to flag down a cab. And then I was on my way to meet an unknown contact with a gun in my pocket and a commie sitting beside me who had turned out to be smarter than he looked. And I was out of touch with the FBI, on my own. That must be number 14, there at the edge of the sand.
We will soon know. Come. You will leave everything to me, Conrad Cvetic.
I'll have to. I don't even know what it's all about.
No matter. I do. Be on guard. Be careful.
Right. This is number 14, all right. You'd think you would find...
All right, you two. Get your hands up. Who are you?
I am Ivanov Zubansky, a friend.
Friend of whom?
A friend of a friend.
All right. The door's unlocked. Open it and go on in. I'll be behind you. How come there's two of you? I understood you'd be alone.
This is one of our American comrades, Comrade Cvetic.
A U.S. commie? I told you guys I wanted no part of these local jerks.
Mind if I say something, fella?
I'm not interested in anything.
Maybe you'll be interested in this.
Comrade.
Packing a rod, huh?
And I'll take your gun, if you don't mind. Thanks.
Comrade Cvetic, I am not sure of the advisability.
I know this type, Comrade Zubansky. He'd keep us here arguing for half the night if we'd let him, and probably try to raise the ante. As it is, we can do business and get out. Right, pal?
I still don't like it, but... Did you bring the money, Zubansky?
Yes, I have it here in my dispatch case.
$10,000?
Correct. There you are. You may verify the amount if you wish.
No. No, you wouldn't try to shave it. You're getting a bargain, and you know it.
Suppose we find out what we are getting. There's the money. Produce.
All right, take it easy. There you are, boys.
Fine. Let's see what
Comrade Cvetic. I'll take care of it.
Sorry, I didn't mean to get out of line.
Not at all. You have been most helpful. But the one important thing now is to transport this item safely to Europe. And at that, I am a past master. Shall we go?
I drove back into the hotel with Zubansky holding the dispatch case as though it were stuffed with diamonds, and neither of us talking very much. I still didn't know what it was he'd bought, but it was a bound report of some sort, and the man who'd sold it had come from Los Alamos. 2 good reasons why it shouldn't get out of the country. We just got inside our hotel room when the phone rang.
Who is that?
Well, I don't know. I'll get it. Hello.
Bishop?
Yes, this is Mr. Cvetic.
Davis here. I'm calling from the lobby. Pretend it's the room clerk.
I see.
Some bad luck there when you left the hotel. I saw you come back. Pick up anything, a report or film?
Of course.
I thought so when I saw that dispatch case.
Well, we have a plane reservation out on Flight 12 in the morning, so the room will be available by 9 o'clock.
All right, I'll check with headquarters and contact you before then.
No trouble at all. Bye. The room clerk. They've got a convention coming in tomorrow. Wanted to know when we were leaving.
Ah, yes. As a matter of fact, Comrade Cvetic, I think we shall leave immediately.
But I thought we were staying over until morning.
There's hardly any point in it now. I have what I came for. It is better to get it out of the country as quickly as possible.
What about this getting it out of the country, comrade? How are you going to get it through customs?
The dispatch case, of course. I'm about to put the seal on it now.
Diplomatic immunity. I hadn't thought of that.
Comrade Cvetic, I think you might be interested in seeing what a tremendous prize we have acquired tonight. I will show you just the title of the report before I seal it up. Look.
I stood there aghast, watching him put the customs immunity seal on the case, realizing the full meaning of the title on the front of the bound pages. It read, Quarterly Progress Report, Secret Weapons.
August 27th, 1952, I Was a Communist for the FBI on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox.
You ever make a change and then think, why didn't I do this years ago? Well, that's how people feel about switching to Medishare for their health care, especially now with inflation the way it is. People are very happy with the savings. Most families save about $500 a month when they switch. It's a huge help when prices are going up so fast in so many other areas. And Medishare's customer satisfaction rate is double that of health insurance. It's just a different experience, and people really like that. Medishare is an alternative to health insurance. It's a community of Christians who share each other's healthcare bills, and it's been going strong for over 25 years. It really is the gold standard, the most trusted name in healthcare sharing. Find out why people love it. Find out why they rave about the customer service, and find out how good it feels to save some money right now. They're super easy to talk to. Here's the number, 833-34-BIBLE. That's 833-34-BIBLE, 833-34-BIBLE.
Now on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox, more of I Was a Communist for the FBI, August 27th, 1952.
Now back to Dana Andrews, starring as Matt Cvetic in I Was a Communist for the FBI, and the second act of our story.
Once again, the timing was against me. Zubansky's sudden decision to leave immediately put me out of touch with the FBI again. And that diplomatic immunity seal was another problem. A problem even for the FBI. I didn't dare let that report leave the country, and yet I didn't know how to prevent it. When we boarded the airliner and took off from Chicago, I still didn't have an answer.
according to this schedule, we will arrive in New York at 6:40, and at 8:10 I catch a transatlantic plane to Europe. Excellent.
Yes, the timing seems to be with you, all right.
Because the times are with us, Comrade Cvetic. The march of history will...
Better go kind of easy on this comrade stuff. Want the secret police on our necks?
Oh, I forgot. It is well that you accompanied me. Who knows what errors I should have made.
Glad to do it. It's all for the cause, you know.
Always before I have come only to New York or Washington, and I've seen no one outside our own embassy. I know very little of your customs.
Yes, I've begun to realize that, Mr. Zabansky. Well, when you're in doubt, just follow my lead.
I shall come, Mr. Cvetic.
That's the idea. Oh, stewardess.
Yes, sir? What can I do for you?
I wonder if I could have something to eat.
Certainly. Would you like something, sir?
Well, I don't
You might as well. It's on the house. Bring us both a snack.
Yes, sir. I'll bring it right away.
Such luxury, such service.
You said it. Oh, by the way, I guess I'd better send a radiogram to the chairman. Tell him everything went off all right.
Wait a minute. Why, Mr. Cvetic?
Oh, those were my instructions.
Oh, I understand. You can send the message from the plane?
Yes, another one of those luxuries.
But, isn't there danger of it being intercepted?
By the secret police? Wouldn't do them any good. I use a code of my own. Let's see now. I want to let him know we got the item, that you're hurrying on to Europe, and that I'll be there by noon today. I guess that's it. There. Think the secret police could make anything out of that?
Say, flyboy, this always same upstairs drawer. Keep mum. You're truly long side wrong G.
G.
Oh. Up front, sing plenty. Here no can, you fix 'em. Nixon tip-off. Let's see, a remarkable code.
Yes, isn't it?
Here's your food, gentlemen.
Oh, thanks. Stewardess, would you mind giving this radiogram to the pilot?
Well,
Just give it to him, please. He'll take care of it.
Well, I'll be glad to.
Thanks. I sat there eating and listened to Zabansky congratulating himself on the great job he'd done. And then what I'd been waiting for happened. The stewardess came back from the pilot's compartment.
Sir, the pilot can't make out some of the words in your radiogram. He wonders if you'd come up and explain them.
Oh, yes, I'll be happy to. I'll be right back, Mr. Zabansky. 5 minutes later, I was back in my seat again, and the pilot was trying to make radio contact with the FBI in New York.
Flight 17, New York to Gander, Shannon, and London.
I believe the immigration office is over this way, Mr. Zabansky.
Yes, right ahead there. It is such a nuisance to require foreign diplomats to check through immigration. It is always a mere matter of routine clearance.
Well, it won't be long now, and you'll be in the air and safely on your way to Europe.
Quite so, and with the satisfaction of having completed a highly successful mission.
Here we are.
Can I help you, gentlemen?
I am Ivanov Zubansky. My passport.
Ah, yes. Ivan Zabansky, government courier.
It is a diplomatic passport, you may notice.
Yes, I see it is, Mr. Zabansky. I'm afraid I'll have to ask you to step inside.
Step inside?
Say, what is this?
A slight irregularity. I'm sure we can clear it up in no time. This way, please. You too, sir, if you don't mind.
What is the meaning of this?
I don't know, but I'm afraid we'll have to go along with it for the time being. Come on.
This way, gentlemen.
My government will hear of this.
I hope you know what you're doing, chum. This is the next thing to an out-and-out insult to the official representative of a friendly foreign power.
I'm sure it can all be straightened out, sir. Through here, please.
Hey, so what's the idea? This is the detention section, the cell block.
It's quite all right, sir. There's nothing to be concerned about. Here we are, gentlemen. Inside, please.
A cell. A prison cell.
Nothing of the sort. There's some slight question of irregularity in Mr. Zabansky's passport, and we'd like a half hour or so to check it. That's all.
But he's a foreign diplomat.
I'm aware of that, sir.
Well, maybe we'd better make your superiors aware of it.
I'm carrying out their orders. Now, gentlemen...
My dispatch case. That is your objective. You are going to take it and break the seal.
Please, Mr. Zabonsky. You may keep the case here with you if you like.
What are we going to do, Mr. Cvetic?
I don't think we have much choice, at the moment at least. Come on.
Thank you for your cooperation, gentlemen.
So far, so good. The pilot had evidently got my message through, and the FBI had decided to go along with my plan. I'd asked them to detain us for half an hour and leave us in a cell together. The rest was up to me. The problem? Block off that report without getting the State Department involved and without arousing Zubansky's suspicions. Quite a problem.
What is taking them so long? Why doesn't he come back?
And the conclusion of I Was a Communist for the FBI, starring Dana Andrews, from August 27, 1952, Burnt Offerings, follows these important messages from your favorite radio station, and then another yours truly Johnny Dollar story here on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox.
Whether you're taking your pets on the road or a walk around the block, you need to be aware of heat stroke. Hi, I am Dr. Jose Arce, immediate past president of the American Veterinary Medical Association. It's important that pets get out and enjoy the warm weather and fresh air, but here are some reminders to help keep your pets safe in the heat. Tune into the day's forecast to see how hot it will be. Limit exercise on hot days or schedule walks earlier or later on the day when it's cooler. If outside, stay on the grass instead of the hot pavement. Make sure your pet has unlimited fresh water and access to shade. Never leave your pet in a closed vehicle, and leave your pet at home in air conditioning when you go out. If you see signs of heat strokes in your pet, such as excessive panting, drooling, unsteadiness, or abnormal gum and tongue color, call your veterinarian or nearest emergency clinic. For more info on summer pet safety, visit avma.org. That's avma.org.
Now on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox, the conclusion of I Was a Communist for the FBI, starring Dana Andrews, August 27th, 1952.
Easy, comrade. He's only been gone 5 minutes.
Somehow they have found out, Comrade Cvetic.
It's impossible. How could they?
I have been thinking, that man who sold us the report, a traitor and a criminal, perhaps he sells to both sides.
Yes, it's possible, of course. That dispatch case of yours, if they do open it and find that report...
They will open it, of course they will. That official didn't even deny his intention when you accused him.
It's possible. They may be trying to get authorization from higher up.
And they will come for it at any moment. What can we do?
If we could only get rid of that report. Without that for evidence, they wouldn't dare hold you.
If we could only dispose of it some way.
Sure, but it's a little hard to dispose of anything when you're locked up in a cell. Here. Like a cigarette?
No, thank you. That is it. The cigarettes. You have matches, of course?
Yeah, but I get it. Burn the report. Right here on the floor.
Exactly. We must hurry before they come for it. Where are the matches?
Here. Let's tear the thing into shreds so it'll burn in a hurry. Otherwise, they may smell the smoke and get here before it's destroyed.
That's a very shrewd idea. If I get out of this, Comrade Cvetic, rest assured that I shall commend your assistance highly to your cell chairman.
Thank you, comrade. You're too generous. Well, that ought to do it. Here goes nothing.
Good. It is flaring up very quickly. It will all be burned within a matter of seconds.
A $10,000 blaze. And an even greater loss to the party. We had the plans of secret weapons right in our hands, Comrade Zubansky.
Comrade, there was no way to save it. Under the circumstances, we are fortunate to have saved our lives.
Here, what's burning in here?
We just made it, comrade. And is he due for a surprise?
Good Lord. What are you burning here?
Private diplomatic papers for which I have no further use.
I'd say you're wasting your time, pal. There's nothing left but embers.
Why did you do this? Why did you burn these papers?
A purely personal matter.
What about Mr. Zabansky's passport? Did you get that irregularity cleared up?
Here is the passport. It's been cleared. Your ticket is stamped.
I am free then to take the plane to Europe?
I have no reason to detain you further.
Not now, huh?
As for you, however, my superior is waiting down the hall to ask you a few questions.
Glad to oblige. I always... Hey, look at the time.
What?
You've got just 3 minutes to get aboard that plane, Mr. Zabansky. Get out before they change their minds.
Yes, I understand. I go quickly. I will communicate with you in the very near future.
Fine. Good luck, Zabansky.
Nice going, sir.
Thanks. You put on a pretty good act yourself.
I don't exactly know who you are or entirely what this is about, but there's a man down the hall who does. I must say, though, you made a fine mess of the floor of one of my security units.
Yeah, but it was a fortunate mess. Plenty fortunate.
There you are.
Come on in, Matt.
Oh, Davis.
Flew in an hour behind you, but I guess there's nothing much left for me to do but offer congratulations and say that we're...
Wait, hold a second.
Huh?
I just wanted to enjoy that sound. That was Zubansky's plane taking off. Well, that was that. Davis traced the spy from his fingerprints on the gun I took from him and picked him up in Chicago a week later. But that was later. There in the immigration office, I shook hands with Davis, and he left to catch a taxi to his apartment and his wife and kids. I walked down the long corridor toward the terminal, heading for the ticket windows, heading back to my hometown cell and the same dangerous double life. I wondered for an instant how it would be to have a wife and kids to go home to. And then I killed the thought. I can afford to have thoughts like that. I'm a communist for the FBI. I walk alone.
August 27th, 1952, I Was a Communist for the FBI on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Now on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox, we have part 2 of a 6-part yours truly Johnny Dollar story, The Kranesburg Matter. This was originally broadcast August 27th, 1956.
From Hollywood, it's time now for...
Johnny Dollar.
I guess we were cut off, Mr. Dollar.
Yeah, apparently. Now, who did you say
Name's Bartlett, J.D. Bartlett.
You mean you work for Mr. Bartlett?
I mean, I am Mr. Bartlett. I mean, Miss Bartlett. Oh, now you've got me all confused.
You're confused.
Look, Mr. Dollar, the only J.D. Bartlett in town is me. I'm him. Her, I mean. Now, you see what you've done.
I'll never forgive myself.
Well, anyway, I'm the tri-state guarantee agent here in Kranesburg, and it seems the least you could have done was to look me up.
Well, give me time. I just got in town.
You had time to rush out there to that South Side bar and start lushing it up.
I came out here to this joint to talk to a jewel thief.
You what? Jewel thief?
It's the guy who phoned Hartford and offered to make a deal on the Crane necklace. He claims he's the one who stole it, that for a slight consideration I can get it back.
And what do you think?
I think I've walked in on the nuttiest case in the month of Sundays. Hey, look, he's waiting for me at the bar. Suppose I drop by later and... Are you sure J.D. Bartlett is a woman?
You're the first man who ever doubted it. I'll see you later, Mr. Dollar.
Tonight and every weekday night, Bob Bailey in the transcribed adventures of the man with the action-packed expense account, America's fabulous freelance insurance investigator.
Yours truly, Johnny Dollar. From Special Investigator Johnny Dollar to the Home Office Tri-State Guarantee Company, Hartford, Connecticut. The following is an accounting of expenditures during my investigation of the Kranesburg matter. Expense account continued. When I told her the case was nutty, I meant it. The start of it had been fairly ordinary. A pearl necklace insured for $20,000 had been stolen from a wall safe in the home of its owner, local socialite Melba Crane. Smiley Prell, a known small-time jewel thief, had phoned us, claiming to have the necklace, and Smiley offered to talk a deal. But before I'd been in town 10 minutes, things began to crumble and change shape. Melba's feather-headed Uncle Phineas had called at my hotel to warn me that his niece was headstrong and impulsive. Or at least he said that was why he'd called. When I tagged the rumor that the aristocratic Cranes were flat broke until recently. And now, at the Green Lion Inn, Smiley Prell, a burglar by admission, was turning skittish and climbing up.
Look, Dollar, I got no time to talk now.
Oh, relax, will you, Smiley? A man in your profession can't afford to develop a case of nerves.
Oh, very funny, but I gotta blow this joint. Now, I told you before you went to get that phone call, I got things to do.
Yeah, I know what you told me.
All right, then. Now, you meet me later at that place and time I told you about
Sit down.
You try pushing me, you're never gonna get them beads back. You ever think of that?
I don't know I am anyway.
I told you
and an hour before on the phone you told me to meet you here and we talk a deal.
All right, and so we will. We'll talk later.
Hey, what's the matter with you?
Dollar, how many times I gotta tell you? Something's come up, and I gotta get it straightened out.
Like what, for instance?
Like what? Never mind, it's none of your business. It's like personal. So, later, huh?
You said you were being handed a double cross. Now, what kind of a double cross?
That's exactly what I'm trying to figure out.
Who did it? Who crossed you?
Never mind who crossed me. It's none of your business.
Did you have a partner on this job?
Oh, look, Don, don't try to kid me. You checked my M.O. before you ever left Hartford. If you did, then you know I always work alone.
Well, it can be a first time for anything.
Look, I got no time to
Did you have
talk.
somebody on the inside, Smiley? Somebody in the Crane house who tipped you off, briefed you?
You want to know too much.
Is that where the double cross came from?
No, I got nothing more to say.
More? You haven't said anything yet.
Well, you meet me tonight where I said $2 at 9 o'clock.
You know something, Smiley? I don't think you've got it.
Huh? What are you talking about?
The necklace. I don't think you had anything to do with the robbery. I don't believe you've got it, or that you've ever even seen it.
You don't, huh?
No, I think you're trying to pull a con of some kind. But it's not going to work.
$1, you know what the things look like?
Yeah, I got photographs of them.
All right, then check me out. There are 38 pearls,
Yeah?
And they're pink, match color, match size. And they're not pierced like they usually are. Each one's set in a fitted platinum mount, and the mounts are fastened together with those, those little links.
What kind of a stone in the clasp?
In the clasp? There ain't any stone in the... Hey, what are you trying to do?
Okay, all right, you've got it. Or at least you've seen it. So, how much do you want?
Meet me tonight at 9 o'clock, and I'll tell you, 1412 North Oak Street, room 6, and no copy. Not if you want them beads back, you understand?
Not any more than I did when I walked in here.
Well, you will, so just keep your shirt on.
Smiley, if you can talk tonight, you can talk now. There's no reason to stall around.
Knock it down. Now, look, I got things to do and not much time to do them in, so go find yourself a cool pad somewhere and simmer down, huh? So long, Doc.
Item 4, 275. I was stuck with the check, naturally. So I paid it and strolled toward the door. I stopped just outside in the entranceway to the roadhouse and watched Smiley cross the parking lot toward a tree-shaded taxi stand where a couple of waiting hacks had parked out of the sun. A few yards away from me stood another cab, this one occupied. I stepped out of the entrance and walked over to the taxi because I'd recognized the passenger in the back seat. Afternoon, Mr. Crane.
What?
Oh,
what?
I'm sorry if I startled you.
Oh, not at all. No, I just didn't hear you walk up.
Yeah, I noticed you seemed pretty concerned with something across the lot there.
Across the lot, but I'm afraid I don't
It wouldn't be that fella getting into the taxi, would it?
But what fellow? I don't know what you mean, Mr. Dollar.
Oh, I could be wrong.
I hadn't even noticed the man, as a matter of fact.
Oh, well, then, of course, you won't mind if we just stand here and watch him drive off.
But I really should get back into town.
Good. I'm going that way myself. I've got a car here. Be glad to take
But I've already engaged this driver.
Pull him off. We'll get going. Give us a chance to talk on the way in. You might as well, Mr. Crane. The other taxi is already out of sight.
And I hadn't noticed. That's very well. Here you are, driver. Keep the change.
Oh, thank you, sir.
My car's over this way.
I'm afraid there may be a misunderstanding of some sort, Mr. Dollar.
Oh?
You seem to be under the misapprehension that I was interested for some reason in that stranger who left.
I said I could be wrong.
And I can assure you that you are.
Here's the car.
Now, to the best of my knowledge, I have never seen the man before in my life.
Well, there'll be days like that sometimes.
What's that?
a colloquialism of the common man, Mr. Crane. What were you doing out at the Green Lion, by the way, Mr. Crane?
Well, I was...
Just killing time, were you?
Well, as a matter of fact, sir, I was waiting to talk with you.
You don't say.
Yes, I was afraid I may have left a wrong impression when I talked with you at your hotel earlier today.
In what way, Mr. Crane?
But I mean about my niece, Melba.
Well, you said she was headstrong, impulsive.
Oh, yes, but not a bit more so than any other normal, average girl, Mr. Dollar.
Oh, I see.
I don't really know why I considered it so important at the time. I must have been a little upset.
Yeah, well, that's understandable. You don't have a jewel robbery in the family every day.
In the family?
I mean, stolen from the family.
Yes.
Apparently, we're both giving wrong impressions.
Well, yes, I dare say we have. At any rate, I'm glad that everything is cleared up now.
I wish it were.
What's that?
Nothing has been cleared up yet as far as I can see. The necklace is still missing.
Well, of course, that isn't what I meant.
It's what I mean. It's the only reason I'm here in Kranesburg, to recover that necklace one way or another.
Well, then what do you mean by one way or another?
Either by tagging the thief and getting it back through police action, or if necessary, by making a deal. I just talked to the man who claims to be in possession of the pearls, as you know, of course, but he wasn't.
I beg your pardon, sir, but I do not know, of course.
Well, and let's say, may have guessed. You were in my hotel room when he phoned. You heard me arrange to meet him here.
I didn't really pay much attention to that phone call.
All right, anyway, when I flew in here from Hartford, I expected this to be a cut-and-dried matter of routine. I'd meet Prell, make a quick deal to get the pearls back, and catch the next plane out. Only it's apparently not going to be that way.
It isn't. What do you mean by that?
I mean, I've stumbled onto a whole nest full of question marks, and nothing seems to add up quite right. Prell, for one thing. I think he's got himself into a spot of some kind. His attitude doesn't make sense.
And what else, Mr. Dollar?
Little things. Rumors I've picked up around town. Hints. And, of course, the biggest question mark seems to be right close to home.
Which one is that?
You, Mr. Crane. When I dropped him off at the center of town, he was still fumbling with vague phrases, trying to clear up the misapprehensions, as he put it, but actually saying nothing. He was sure, however, that I would understand. He was wrong. I didn't. Even my mistake about J.D. Bartlett, Tri-State's local agent, seemed to fit in with the rest of the mixed-up case. I'd assumed from the name that Bartlett was a man. But when I walked into the office a few minutes later, I was suddenly happy that I was wrong.
Your dollar, I presume?
That's right. Miss Bartlett.
Just make it J.D. I've spent a lot of time and effort getting those initials pounded into the skulls of the local inhabitants.
Why?
It's good for business. Makes me one of the boys, you might say.
I kind of doubt it somehow. As you mentioned on the phone, you're, unmistakable.
For that, I'm going to drop the dollar and call you Johnny. Pull up a chair.
Yeah. Thanks, J.D.
Did you get anywhere with that character who snatched the Queen's rocks?
Nope.
How come?
Oh, he stalled. Postponed the whole deal until 9 o'clock tonight.
Why?
He was nervous, I guess.
What?
Well, that's about the only reason I can figure. And between him and old Phineas Crane, I'm getting a little nervous myself.
How did Phineas get into the act?
Good question. Wish I had a good answer. Hey, what about these Cranes, J.D.? What makes them tick?
Beats me.
Well, you sold them the insurance policy. You must know something about them.
I didn't sell the policy. I just permitted it to be bought from me.
How so?
Melba Crane came snooting into the office one day, dropped the pearls under my plebeian nose, and wanted them insured.
Uh-oh. Why do you dislike her?
She's a good-looking dame, and I'm pretty well favored myself. That answer your question?
Roughly, yes. So what happened?
So I got Jim Markley, local jeweler, in here to appraise him, issued the policy, and that was that.
I understand that the necklace was an engagement gift from some newcomer in town.
Yeah, Dean Sellers. She had him hooked before he even got his bags unpacked. That skirt has the ethics of a boa constrictor, and about as much personality as a face painted on an egg.
Somehow I don't feel I'm getting an unbiased opinion.
You won't at this address. Why can't she climb down off her pedestal and play ball with the rest of us? The Crane name, the Crane tradition, the Crane social position. The only thing they're not so high and mighty about is the Crane bank account, because there isn't one.
Yeah, except lately. As I understand it, old Phineas has been flashing money around pretty freely the last few months.
Yeah, so I've heard. Don't ask me to explain it. I can't even explain Phineas.
What do you mean?
He's a rare one, that old boy. Old school tie, mouthful of mush, that sort of thing. But you know, if it was a matter of protecting the family name, I actually think he'd commit murder.
Now, here's our star to tell you about Monday's intriguing episode of this continuing story.
Monday, a thief stalls for time, an old man lies desperately, and a strange girl whispers the dread word, murder. Join us, won't you? Yours truly, Johnny Dollar.
Yours truly, Johnny Dollar, starring Bob Bailey, is transcribed in Hollywood. Written by Les Crutchfield. It is produced and directed by Jack Johnstone. Be sure to join us Monday night, same time and station, for the next exciting episode of Yours truly, Johnny Dollar. This is Roy Rowan speaking.
August 27th, 1956, the second part of the six-part Yours Truly, Johnny Dollar story, The Kranesburg Matter, and thanks to Ted over at RadioMemories.com for getting us this particular series of episodes. Hope you enjoy them. Thank this station, support their advertisers. It's their kindness and courtesy that allows us to be with you each and every time we roll around here on your favorite station. Now, if you miss a day, you don't have to miss a single show. You can find all of our shows on demand by going to classicradio.stream. At classicradio.stream, you can stream our shows on demand. You can learn more about building a classic radio collection of your own. You can contact me there. You can find our links to our social media. You can also find out information about the various applications where you can actually download the shows and keep them forever and ever, amen. And you can also contact me, and you can find my link to buy me a coffee. That buy me a coffee money goes to buy us new classic radio collections. We've picked up a nice run of Casey Crime Photographer, a great show sponsored by Anchor Hawking Glass Company, and some more episodes of Captain Midnight. We'll have all those for you here. And thanks to those of you who sponsor us through Buy Me a Coffee at classicradio.stream. Thanks for tuning in. Tell all your friends the great radio shows are right here at this spot on the dial. Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox on your favorite radio station.